So the earliest memory I have of being associated with an eating disorder was in first or second grade. I don't think I ever really took my own body into account, but it was when the other kids started to tell me that I was ugly and anorexic that started to look at myself and my body a lot more consciously. And I'm not really sure if the way that kids treated me then was considered bullying. It was more, oh, well, the kids are just being kids, and if the boys make fun of you, it's because they like you. And from a very young age, I had a drive to succeed, and I wanted to be good at something as I evidently lacked in terms of my appearance. I was and still am a classic type A personality. In middle school, I remember using food to deal with how I was feeling mentally and emotionally. If I was worried, I would skip lunch. If I didn't feel worthy, eating fell very low on my hierarchy of importance. It was that concept that spiraled out of control my freshman year of high school when I encountered a trauma and began self-harming for the first time. Sophomore year, I remember being surrounded by girls at the lunch table who only talked about calories, and they used that app, MyFitnessPal, to track what they were eating. They just wanted to lose a couple pounds or look good in a bikini, but I took it a little further. It was during the spring of that year that I began taking trips to the bathroom after lunch, trying to empty myself of whatever nutrients I had just consumed, thinking that's how I'm gonna get the look the other girls want. And when school ended that year, I welcomed summer, and I also welcomed new changes in my body. I couldn't understand how I gained so much weight so fast. It was that weight gain that began the cycle of being encouraged to eat more, throwing my lunch away, and having dizzy spells. Whenever anyone asked if I was okay, my answer was always a lie. When my junior year started, I was taking more advanced classes and AP classes, and I took on more responsibility, and that left no time to take care of myself. Within a couple of months, I experienced the downward spiral that left me in front of my AP biology teacher pleading for help because I just couldn't understand the struggle that was going on inside of me. My teacher had a gift of helping those with eating disorders, but within a couple weeks, he knew that the help I needed was outside of with which he could help me. He told my parents about my anorexia, which was one of the scariest days I had encountered in a long time. This started a domino effect of backlash from them because they couldn't understand why I wouldn't eat and why I saw myself a certain way and what had changed in just a few months. The days I spent intensely intertwined with my anorexia, for which would come to be about 2 years, were some of the loneliest. Every single day I was struggling between starving, purging, and self-harm, asking myself just when the vicious cycle would end. My relationship with my eating disorder was toxic, and no matter what I said or what I tried to do, I found myself victim to the awful voices in my head. And I want to say it was around the time that I recall being in the deepest part of my disorder that I was denied outpatient treatment for being too sick. What they actually did, they took my height and my weight at the time, and they came up with a number. And they said, we will not take you because you are a liability. So they would not allow me to try their program. They didn't want to give me a chance, and that completely broke me. After that, I was denied access to outpatient treatment 4 more times, and I gave up hope that I had any chance of getting better. From this point, I had anxiety attacks that would span over the course of several days and more frequent episodes of purging and self-harm. It was here that I thought it was time to give in. I realized as the early months of my senior year went on how much time I had lost, how sick I was, and how much I had given up just to hold on to my disorder. I think that one of the most common misconceptions about eating disorders is that it's all about the weight, but I will be the first person to tell you that it's not. Because of my eating disorder, I lost weight, I lost friends, I lost my happiness, and I really lost myself. On December 15th, 2015, I was admitted to the inpatient unit at the Sheppard Pratt Center for Eating Disorders here in Baltimore. This is not only something that I cried about for hours the night before, but something that I had been waiting for over a year. I realized that that was my true chance at achieving recovery and at getting my life back, becoming someone who wasn't defined by their eating disorder. After losing hope so many times, the possibility of finally getting better was on my radar again. I actually believed that recovery was possible, and I vowed to myself to be the living testament of just that. When I think about the last year of my life, the only word that comes to mind is breathtaking. I've attended 4 different treatment programs of all different levels, and I've become someone that I didn't know I had the capacity to be. I'm a full-time college student, a leader of the awareness campaign Beautiful Me, and telling my story of embracing change in hopes of making a difference. I only discharged from treatment about 5 months ago, but the comparison to how I feel now versus how I felt then is incredible. When I was inpatient, one of my teachers, he actually came to visit me and he looked at me and he said, "You look more alive." I don't think I could hear something that was more relevant to how I was beginning to feel. I wasn't only looking more alive, I was truly beginning to feel more alive. And I'm learning that recovery is a giant wave, and that healing truly comes in waves. Some days the wave does hit the rock, and other days I feel like I'm drowning. But that's okay, because at the end of the day, I'm still healing. I'm creating who I am, and that's a free spirit, a sunflower at heart, and a warrior by blood. And every day I have a new path to undertake. I'm breathing through the process one step at a time. I'm accepting that I am beautiful. I am beautiful, and I wouldn't want to be anybody other than me. Thank you.